Welcome in, Bobcat fans, as we are catching up with head acrobatics and tumbling coach Katie Nunley as they are about to enter the last part of their regular season before potentially some conference championships. And Coach, it's been quite the start for you guys, undefeated so far this year, and just recently taking down Fairmont State, who's kind of been the thorn in our side the past couple of years. But, I mean, could you have imagined this start when you first started out this year?
You know, I had extremely high expectations for the season. I knew it was going to be a good one. But at any point in time, any meet can be, anybody's. It always comes down to team event, and clearly, whenever we went against Fairmont, that's exactly what it came down to. I knew they could do it. I wanted them to be confident that they could do it. And I told them that they really just had to leave everything out on the mat, and they did, and we pulled that W.
You now have picked up 2 ranked wins this year, actually 3 ranked wins, correct myself, over King, West Liberty, and Fairmont State, all 3 of those in the preseason poll. Ourselves being ranked 12th, and you kind of look at it, you could say it's 2 upsets with King being 11th at the time, Fairmont State number 7. It now shows, for just a third-year program, how quickly things have kind of rapidly changed. When you were first hired, 3-4 years ago, did you imagine any of this would have been, this high standard at this point in your career?
Year 3, 5 is like a goal was MECs and qualifying. That was kind of the goal then. I didn't anticipate it to get here on year 3 with the team, but it's exciting, and they're an amazing group of athletes. They're extremely talented. They work really well together. They come together. They step up. I wasn't surprised, but I'm a little surprised. You expect these things, and you're very hopeful as a coach. You're their biggest fan at the end of the day. But to actually have it happen, I was still thinking yesterday. I was like, I still can't believe we won, but we did it. So I'm excited for them and for them to continue off of this high.
Wanted to speak on one of those athletes. And now, obviously, this is a team sport. Every single person on the team contributes in some way or another. But one specifically, an Abby Baker, who is 3-time MEC Athlete of the Week. And no one else in the conference has more than one accolade such as that. Only a junior in her own right, but certainly is recognized as one of the top athletes, not just in this conference, but in the country. And she kind of is the silent leader in a way, where she is lead by example to an extent. And, just having someone like that you just trust to put out there every single meet, how important is it, and how, proud of her are you so far this year?
I'm super proud of her. I know coming into this year, she did have to undergo surgery, so I knew she was worried about that. But she didn't let that mess up anything. She never skipped a beat. She came back into it, and anything that I throw at her, no matter how crazy it is, she was like, okay, she'll give it her best shot, and she always gives 100%. She's extremely coachable, and I love that about her. And she's just a phenomenal athlete. I knew from day one, whenever I recruited her, that she was going to make a name for herself within acrobatics and tumbling.
Speaking of making a name, Baylor, who we were going to take on this Wednesday, number 1 in the country, defending champions, sort of the standard for which acrobatics and tumbling at this point in time is kind of based around. They've, undefeated just as we are, some higher scores, but that is their right. We've got some 270s, but they've got a 280 on the year. What is the level of excitement versus potential nervousness of traveling down to Waco, taking on number 1, but just kind of seeing, sort of a professional setting and, how they run things? We like to think we do a good job here of how we do things, but certainly they're kind of on another level, being a Division I high major program.
Yeah, no, I know the team was really excited to get the opportunity to travel. This is our first biggest travel away meet. So I'm nervous to fly with them, but they all seem to be pretty confident in that, so I'm good with that. But besides that, I know they were talking a little bit about nerves, about being in the arena, and I told them that, this isn't a meet that you are against an opponent. We are our own opponent at the end of the day. And for them to really just, take in everything, because it's a different type of atmosphere that we might not get to experience the rest of the season. But more so, I want them to just go in and say, hey, yeah, we're a third-year program, but we can hang with you guys. So that's my goal for them, and I don't think nerves will let them get the best of them, as long as they're having fun on the sideline and they're being able to stay focused primarily. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to do great, and I think it's just going to be like, wow, okay, like this is the type of program that is number one. How can we, cater this program to get to that as well?
As we speak at this moment, only 3 meets left in the season, and it really has come so fast compared to the start of the season, and now we're almost into championship time, where you're taking on a pair of top 5 programs. We just talked about Baylor, also Quinnipiac, going up to Connecticut to take on them, and then Glenville State in the regular season MEC final. The way we have performed this season, it sets us up to get a high seed in the MEC championship, and then you could look potentially even farther ahead of trying to get an 8 seed or a top 8 part for the national tournament. How are you managing sort of these meet by meet expectations of we want to take care of ourselves here, but let's also maybe look at some things for the future for championships, both in the conference and the national tournament potentially?
Funnily enough, we were talking at the end of the meet, me and Hillary actually, my athletic trainer. We were like, we're in a really good spot. Like, we're playing all the right cards, we think. I don't think there's much tweaking that we will really need to do. If anything, just small, minor things, just to try to maybe see if we can increase a few points here and there. But I don't really want to mess too much with it. But, if we have that opportunity where we want to explore something else, I would definitely think that would either take place either at Quinnipiac or at Glenville. We're kind of keeping all of our cards the same for this next meet, just so we're prepared in time. And what we competed on Saturday was really good, so I want to see how it scores again. But I'm just looking at how everything is scored, seeing what common deductions we're receiving, and trying to figure out what averages I'm getting in my brain that could possibly qualify for nationals. But I think there's a really strong possibility that we could go for top 8, maybe going in as that A seed. And that would be awesome because that's a 5-year goal that I had. And be able to do that at 3 is phenomenal, and it speaks to the athletes that we have. But yeah, so I'm just excited to see how the rest of our scores come out. I think when we go against Quinnipiac, there's a really good possibility that we can take them in some heats, maybe some events. So I don't think there's any, like, oh, it's just not going to happen, by no means. I think there's a really good possibility, just seeing what scores they've been getting and what we've been scoring as well.
Well, we certainly want to congratulate you on the start that you've had. Want to continue that success into the end of the season here as well. But thank you for coming on, giving us an update on the team this year, and wish you the best of luck here in these final regular season meets as well as the championship meets.
Thank you.